Oh, I won't back down. Oh, I can't back down. You could stand me up at the gates of hell, or maybe the Degrassi black hole. I know I have many weird opinions, but I know it's right to tell you why I can think of 10 things that I can't let go, and I won't back down. They say that one of the most popular sayings is the devil on someone's shoulder. It's a euphemism for the fact that the devil on someone's shoulder forces someone to do terrible things that is just not common with them. Degrassi has one main guy in particular. His name is Jay Hogarth, and I will be telling you why I think that Jay is one of the most hated characters in Degrassi history, despite the fact that Rick is hated for what he did to Terry and coming back to Degrassi, and Peter for all his scummy stuff. I tell you why Jay is definitely the devil on people's shoulders. Completely bad. It's just the fact that Jay is the devil on everyone's shoulder. Rick wasn't a devil on people's shoulders. He didn't force people to do bad things, and neither did Peter. But it has to definitely be Jay being the devil on everyone's shoulder. I mean, his track record speaks for itself. So I did a Degrassi Reddit post a long time ago, and for context, it's being taped on September the 4th, 2023. It says, I do have a bitter taste about Jay, but let me explain. For one thing, it's not about Michael Lobo. He was a great actor and played Jay well, but it's about Jay in general. Or in layman's terms, I don't hate the player, I hate the game. But for the purposes of the post, I must say that Jay was evil to at least one character every season from 3 to 7. Season 3 was convincing Sean to join the Candy Bandits and ditch Emma and then have Sean steal stuff from the school. Season 4 was bullying Rick just by having no previous connection with Terry, the Terry situation, and worst of all, convincing Spinner to blame Judy for everything and trying not to have Spinner confess about things. Season 5 was telling JT to steal OxyContin from his job to sell for money to help Liberty and him out with the baby, although he does save JT from overdosing, so that was not a bad thing. Season 6 was telling Sean to flee the scene of an accident when he and Peter have that street race for Emma's heart. Season 7, probably for revenge on Manny with that audition tape. He was the devil on people's shoulders, and let's not forget what he did to Zombie Emma in Season 4 in the gonorrhea attack. So people all did chime in and all that. Someone said I missed one because telling Darcy to have sex with Spinner so he doesn't leave her, and then Spinner finds out why she was uncomfortable and beats Jay up. That's right. Spinner blows up at Jay for that. Yeah, and someone said that understood. Not, but it's sometimes the fandom gets real and decides they're gonna like whoever they want. It's useless for other people to bring up their horrible traits to convince people not to like them. And G-Flower said, it's been stated many times you could view this entire show as just Jay going on ruining everyone's lives. That's right. Alright, so let's go through the chronological stuff with Jay. Alright, so season 3 is when we're first introduced to Jay. Sean is not hanging out with Emma because Emma has to deal with Snake's leukemia and also pick up the slack around the house, helping with baby Jack too. And Sean's not too happy with Emma, and Emma says she has to do what she has to do. And then Sean is talked to by Jay, and Jay's impressed because when Sean actually fought Jay realized that Sean had deafened a kid in Wasaga Beach, and that he was kind of a hero, and decides to recruit Sean for his gang because of Sean's criminal past, if you will. And so Jay is happy with everything, but the fact of the matter is that not everything worked out. Sean is impressed by Jay and all that, and tells Emma basically that he's going to go do his stuff with Jay and them. Emma comes in pathetic. Sean slams a block in front of Emma, but Emma doesn't flinch. Shows how badass Emma was. And then, he's in the game, he's stealing stuff. Raj has a suspicion about Sean, and Sean says, oh, it's because I'm poor and all that. Raj says, no, but your actions are making me think that you're stealing stuff. I will catch you. So Sean, upset with how Emma is with him, decides to steal Snake's laptop to get back at Emma for everything. He does have a little bit of change of heart, but then he realizes he couldn't. So he gets in good with Jay because Jay and his gang are like in cars, and Sean could embrace his gangster's look, which was kind of funny sometimes. Of course, Jay laughs at Emma, saying that Sean stole stuff from the school and stole that laptop. And then Emma decides to go to Raj with the evidence. Raj searches Sean's car and finds nothing, so Emma is wrong. Sean makes the mistake, quote unquote, of yelling at Raj, and Raj basically throws the book at him. But of course, Jay, kept his standards with everything. And then season 4 pops up, and Jay's on the side of bullying Rick. Like, I understand, getting mad at Rick for what he did to Terry, but, Jay had no connection with Terry or the situation. Spinner did. Paige did, because they both tried to warn Terry about Rick and let Rick walk off from the road trip, which Terry then tries to catch him, but she gets put in a coma. Spinner and Paige go into the forest and save Terry's life and have to try to explain things to Terry's dad. But the fact of the matter is that Spinner and Paige were warranted. Jay just wanted to be a bully and just prove that, he can be a bad guy and all that. Especially with the fact that Jay, Alex, and Spinner are the last 3 to really bully Rick. Jimmy switched sides, of course. But Jay, I think, in a sense, was upset with Jimmy switching sides. And then Jay does this Paint and Feathers plan. I don't know if he was the one who came up with Paint and Feathers, but probably it was. He and Spinner set it up, and Jay said that, he got the connection with Alex with the keys so they can dump the stuff on Rick from the balcony. So basically, that's what happens, and Rick wins the quiz competition, gets the Paint and Feathers on him, everyone laughs their head off. Emma tries to calm Rick down, but Rick then kisses her, and troubles ensue, but, Jay doesn't get involved until later in Time Stands Still Part 2 when Spinner confesses to Jay, dude, Radish knows. And then Jay goes, about Jimmy? Yeah, I'm surprised he knows about this. And then Spinner's like, what are you talking about? And then Jay shows Spinner that there's Paint and Feathers in the sink and there's someone in the stall. Surprised that Rick didn't come out of the stall. But the fact of the matter is that Jay and Spinner concoct this lie saying that Jimmy knew what he was doing being an inside man and all that. And Rick feels betrayed. Rick then goes up to Jimmy and talks to him about the betrayal, but Jimmy says, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Rick brandishes the gun and Jimmy runs. And Rick shoots him in the spine and then almost kills Emma, but doesn't. And Jay is forced to try to tell Spinner not to tell the authorities because Spinner said they're going to put 2 and 2 together. Because we convinced Rick Jimmy was behind this and Rick had a gun. I mean, they didn't know Rick had a gun. No one knew Rick had a gun. In this sense. Not even Paige. Despite that, Rick almost shot her. But the fact of the matter was that, Jay was trying to save his own butt, and, Spinner had 3 months of racked up guilt over it, and finally lets loose. And Jay's upset with Spinner for blabbing to Jimmy, saying you just couldn't keep your mouth shut. And Spinner goes, Jimmy deserves to know the truth. And so he did. So that's what happened. And the fact of the matter is that, Spinner did the right thing by coming to Hatzalakos and telling on Jay as well. But unfortunately, he wasn't completely honest and all that. In the sense that, he should have came forward later on. But, Jay's, of course, upset that Spinner did this and got them expelled. And Jay and Spinner decide to burn the school for burning Spinner's chances for summer school, trying to get back to Degrassi because of what he did. Spinner deserved it. Spinner deserved his punishment. But Jay, in one of the nicest things he did, told Spinner, you can't burn the school down. And Spinner agrees. Then season 5 pops up. Jay has a chance to come back to Degrassi, but doesn't because he's upset that Degrassi just needed a scapegoat for the Rick situation, and Spinner was it. Despite the fact that Spinner told on his own accord, well, he was found out, and that he was going to pay for what he did. Hatzalakos had Spinner on a short leash, and Spinner says, I will not let you down. And then Jay ends up being part of that Friendship Club episode when Spinner goes on the retreat with Darcy. And is upset with Darcy and calls Jay to try to pick him up. Jay does. Jay tries to hook up with some girls. And Jay also tells Darcy that, Spinner might leave you if you don't have sex. Spinner needs this and all that. And then Darcy becomes upset and uncomfortable, and Spinner clues in and decides to go after Jay and chides him, saying that, I should never have been with you in the first place. Jimmy would never be in that wheelchair. Spinner did the right thing by confessing his guilt, but Jay said, we did the world a favor, which is like, wow, you just won't accept responsibility. I mean, Alex could have told on herself, and she tried to. I think she wanted to, but she, in the end, decided not to. So that's what happened. And then Jay pops up in the JT and Liberty pregnancy storyline as JT's in the pharmacy trying to make extra money, and Jay says, you could steal OxyContin and people will sell their own mothers for this stuff. So JT, in a sense, agrees and decides to sell the OxyContin and all that. And, he's getting money for the baby and all that. Unfortunately, a drug dealer does not like JT's style. Liberty tells JT to stop this drug dealing thing, and JT wants to get out of it. But unfortunately, JT can't seem to get out of it and decides to take drugs and overdose. But Jay, to his credit, decides to call the hospital and get the stomach pump and basically get JT saved. And Rick, JT aside, I mean, did Jay do the right thing? Yes, he did. And then season 6, he pops up in the whole Sean, Emma, Peter triangle thing, when Sean is, of course, upset that he got expelled over the fake drugs, the drugs that Peter planted in his locker to get rid of Sean so that he could stay with Emma. And Jay says that, why not race against this guy? Have a street race for Emma's heart and all that. So he convinces Sean to do so. Sean hits a pedestrian, and Sean calls the hospital and tries to get help and all that. But Jay says, leave the scene, because they'll go easy on Peter because he's a minor, but for you, they'll throw you in jail. So Sean leaves the scene of the crime. Emma convinces him to come clean, and Sean does. A lot of people were awkward about Emma's situation, but Emma would have been charged with harboring a fugitive. So obviously Emma couldn't do that. So he does all that, and Jay decides to talk to Emma, saying that Peter's the bad guy. All this, Sean's suffering in jail. Yeah, Sean hit a pedestrian and fled. It's a hit and run, and all that. And Jay convinced Sean to do so. I'm surprised Sean didn't just turn things on Jay, saying that Jay convinced me to flee the scene. He should have said that, and then Jay would have been really in trouble and put in jail like he should have been for the whole Rick situation. But he wasn't. And he does tell Emma that, Peter is scum and all that. Manny, of course, tells Emma Peter is scum too. So they work together to make Emma realize that Peter was terrible. And so Emma goes towards Sean. Jay has an auto shop, which isn't doing so well, but Sean is a good helper and all that. Jay at least helps Sean out because, they were buddies. And yeah, I'm surprised that Sean got away from jail and all that. Because I think that realistically, I don't think he would have been out of jail that quickly. So the fact of the matter is that Jay then decides in season 7 to pop up and be Manny's boyfriend. Manny, of course, is upset with her parents bossing around, so she decides, why not? I'm going to get Jay as my boyfriend and piss my parents off. But it doesn't work out that way because, one, Jay actually decides to behave himself and clean up and be a good boyfriend to Manny, and two, Manny's dad likes Jay and all that, so Manny's plan is all for naught, and that kind of sucks, but it was a plan, and they both find out, oh, we do have feelings for each other, and also the fact that Manny actually wants to have a fake engagement to Jay, all that to tick her parents off, doesn't work out as her parents have a priest come in and talk to them about their marriage and all that. Jay actually proposes to Manny with an engagement ring. Manny thinks that it's fake and all that and is not happy with it, but soon learns that Jay was legitimate and that was his mom's engagement ring, and so he basically was trying to be genuine. Of course, hijinks ensue with that relationship, and in season 8, Jay does get Manny, Emma, and the studs to go from Ontario to California to get Manny her movie title, her movie role back in season 8. I mean, Jay did a bad thing. I mean, he took a school bus, seemingly with permission from the chef, and that probably was the last straw, and the chef was turf because of that. But I mean, Jay convinced people that he can do it, anything he wants, and he couldn't. So yeah, I mean, when you look at it, it's that, yeah, Jay's should be hated because he's the devil on Degrassi's shoulder. I mean, he got Sean to do some bad things in season 3 and break off with Emma. Season 4, he was a giant bully and convinced Spinner to blame Jimmy for everything. Season 5, he tries to bully on the Spinner Darcy relationship, and then when Spinner breaks off with Jay as a friend, then he goes towards JT and tries to make him a drug dealer and all that. And then, of course, sorry about the glare, it's now making my head look terrible. But the fact of the matter is that then season 6, he convinces Sean to leave the scene of an accident and have a street race in the first place. Then season 7, he does some weird things to Manny. In season 8, he gets the school bus to save Manny's acting job. Is he the devil on everyone's shoulder? Yeah, I mean, like, and yeah, I forgot about Emma and the gonorrhea thing, because Emma was in zombie Emma phase, and you knew that Emma was not in a good place because Jay creepily goes towards Emma, and Emma doesn't do a thing about it. Emma ends up getting a social disease because of her actions, and Jay thought that Emma was pure and all that, but Emma says, I don't feel pure. So Jay ruined a lot of characters' lives in one way or another, and he was just bad. And what repercussions did he get? Very little repercussions. Like, they talk about Peter getting little repercussions. What about Jay? I mean, he was just as bad too. He should have got a lot of repercussions. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, thanks.